Hey, what's up, guys? Jonathan here with Florida Turf Pros. Without a doubt, the question that I get asked the most is how do I price work? And I understand that it's typically coming from somebody who's new to the lawn care industry. There's nothing wrong with that, man. I understand it's intimidating, kind of getting your prices right in the beginning. We were all there at one point. But if nobody has ever showed you how to do this, what I'm about to show you, you need to implement this like yesterday, okay? This needs to be something that you do in your business from day one, or maybe you've been in business a little bit and you've never really truly understood a per man hour calculation. This is how I determine for my business which properties I keep at the end of the year and which properties get let go to make room for new and better clients, okay? And the theme that I want you to take away in this video is, look, a pretty property, that does not mean a profitable property. Just because a property looks good and you're lenient towards it because you enjoy doing it, if the numbers say that it's not profitable, guess what? It's not profitable. And then on top of that, some of these other yards that you do that there may not be super nice, you could be absolutely crushing it on your per man hour rate. You don't know until you start tracking what I'm about to show you. And what I'm going to do is I actually took, we had about 30 lawns to do today, and I tracked the times on all those lawns today. And I'm not going to show you all 30, but I'll show you a good portion of them. And what we're going to do is we're not going to sugarcoat anything. I'm not going to show you the best lawns that we did. I'm going to just show you about the first 7 or 8 or so that we do. And you're going to see that these lawns, they might not be the nicest lawns. Well, why are they on my roster? Well, they're on there for a reason, right? It's because they're super profitable, okay? I've already went through this. I've let go of some yards and replaced them with yards that might not be as nice, but they're yards that I have got to be extremely profitable, okay? And again, the theme that I want you to take away in this video is pretty does not always equal profitable, but you don't know until you truly start tracking the times in your yards and figuring out what is the common denominator between all the profitable yards. Is it a certain size lawn? Is it that your equipment is perfectly set up for a particular type property? These are the things that are going to be uncovered as you start tracking your time, tracking the per man hour calculation. It's going to be like opening up a book with hidden pages. The numbers don't lie. That's what I love about the numbers. Let's just go ahead and jump into it. And I'd encourage you to immediately start tracking your times. I'm going to show you how to do it, and it's going to have a drastic impact on your business. All right, so we're at yard 1 for the day, so I'm gonna go ahead and get the stopwatch going and kind of show y'all how we track time and how you can check out your per man hour rate at the end of jobs. Okay, so that yard 1647, we'll say 17 minutes, and I got $45 for that yard. But I want you to take note of that backyard. There was a pool back there. There was a lot of edging. I didn't show it on the camera, but on the other side, there is even more weed eating and edging. That's just a lot of detail work back there. And that type of thing, you will see, will start to drive up your times. But what we're going to do is we're going to keep doing this for all of our properties today. And you're going to see a common theme on what causes properties to take more time, what type of grass types actually take more time to cut than others. And you start getting a good feel for that type of thing. That's going to allow you to get your work profitable. Just a reminder what we're running with, the 36, the 52, and that's getting it done for us. So y'all seen this setup before, it's bare bones, but I found what works for us. Okay, so this is how we do our routes for the day. Y'all know we use Yardbook, but yeah, so it routes it out for you in the quickest way possible, and you just click it off as you go through it. So y'all seen how many properties we've done so far, and what we're going to do next is we are going to look at how to get to our next property. So you literally just hit the routing feature. Oops, sorry, didn't mean to hit that. You hit the routing feature, and then okay, it's showing you where it is, and then you literally just hit direction start. Turn left toward US 90 and then boom, it shows you exactly the quickest way to get to your destination. just wrap this one up. And the theme that I want us to keep in mind, guys, just because a home is not in a high-end neighborhood, the yard isn't super pretty, does not mean that it's not super profitable. You don't know that until you start tracking it. Not a pretty yard, guys. Another yard that is not pretty. But you know what's more cool than a pretty yard? A profitable yard.
Stop it already?
Nice little zoysia yard here. Finished up in 12 minutes. Hey guys, so I just finished up the day. It's about 5 o'clock or so. We had about 30 lawns to do today, which is a lot of drive time today, which we typically don't have. We were just doing a lot of makeup work. I'm going to go ahead and show you the lawns from the beginning of the video, how I track those times, how I crunch those numbers. I'm not going to do it for all the lawns we did today. It's just redundant to do it for that many lawns, but this will let you see, like, okay, this is how I look at the lawns and make decisions on which lawns are profitable for us, which lawns are not. And then whenever it comes time to purge at the end of the year, I look at these numbers. This is how I do it. And if they don't hit our per man hour rate, one of two things happens. I call the client up and we either get them to a price where they need to be, or I will drop them. Doesn't matter if they're a good client, a difficult client, a nice yard or a crappy yard. The numbers don't lie. And when you start crunching numbers, that's when you start looking and get into a deeper look into your business and truly understanding, you know, what is a profitable yard for you. Okay, so you got out your stopwatch, you timed your yards, and now what, okay? Well, this is what you do next, okay? You take the time of the yard, divide it by 60, and then divide that number into price. It's really as simple as that. That is the formula. So again, this is the price for the yard you got. 60 always stays the same, and you divide your time by 60, okay? So if the yard took you 45 minutes to do, it would be 45 divided by 60, and then you divide that into price. If the yard takes you an hour and 15 minutes to do, then you take 75 and divide 75 by 60 and push that number into your price, okay? That's going to give you your per man hour rate. I wrote down some examples here for you. So this is all I did, guys, and I'm assuming that you don't have software, you know, so just write your clients' names down, write their times down, and then just track this stuff, man. This is how you're going to figure out what yards are truly profitable for you, and you're going to get a surprise. Some of the yards that might not be super nice, they're super profitable, so they can hang on to your schedule. And all those yards, you know, that are like, oh, you love doing them because they're super nice, maybe they're not as profitable as what they should be, okay? This is how you figure it out, okay? So let's take example one, Mr. Rich. We did his yard today in 17 minutes, and I got $45 for his yard, okay? So we're simply just going to plug that in, all right? So 45. So it's time divided by 60, 17 divided by 60, and you divide that number into price, okay? So 17 divided by 60, 0.283. So you divide 0.283 into 45 into your price, all right? That gives you 159. Now, $159 per hour was generated, okay? We were able to do a 45-minute yard in 17 minutes, so we're generating $159 per hour. But hold up, We had 3 guys on the crew today. All right. Frankly, that is a little surprising for me, okay? Mr. Rich is not at our per man hour rate here at Florida Turf Pros, okay? So one of 2 things are going to happen, all right? It's halfway point in the season. Mr. Rich is going to get a phone call. We're going to get this number bumped up, the 45 bumped up, or I have to figure out a way to decrease our time on his yard. That's the 2 options, all right? If we can't get this number up with Mr. Rich and I can't get this number to go down, we got to let Mr. Rich go, okay? He's not beating our per man hour rate. Okay, so next up was Miss Kim. I showed you her yard, and we did Miss Kim's yard in 13 minutes, okay? I get $50 for Miss Kim's yard. So we're going to take 13 divided by 60. Okay, and then we're going to divide this number, 0.2167, into 50. Okay, so we generated $230 an hour on her property. So look, price 50, we're getting $50, and we're able to do a $50 yard in 13 minutes, okay? $50 yard in 13 minutes, that means we're generating $230 an hour on this job site, okay? But remember, we had 3 guys today. Okay, so $76 an hour is what we are generating on the job site per man at Miss Kim's place. Miss Kim, she's good to go. She is well inside our per man hour rate. Okay, next up was Jenna, and Jenna was a $55 yard. And we were able to do her yard in 11 minutes. That's a great time on that yard, okay? So 11 divided by 60 is 0.183. So 55 divided by 0.183. So we're generating $300 an hour on her job site. We had 3 guys. We're at $100 per man hour on Jenna's place, okay? So Jenna, she would get a star by her name. She is going to be considered a rock star client, okay? Super profitable yard. Now, whenever you realize something like this, okay? And guys, this was not a super nice yard. You have to figure out what is it about this yard that is allowing you to get a premium price and get your time so low, okay? What does that yard have in common with all of the other yards who you're getting great per man hour rates at, okay? Let's do a couple more. Okay, the 4th yard is Angela, and Angela's yard was a $45 yard. And we did her yard in 7 minutes, 7 minutes. So 7 divided by 60 is 0.1167. We're going to divide 0.1167 into 45. And holy cow. So we generated $385 per hour on her yard. We had 3 guys with us today. That's $128 per hour is what we're generating per man, okay? All right, let's do one more. Okay, so the last one here, we're going to look at, this guy is Mr. Curtis, and Mr. Curtis yards, we did his yard in 18 minutes today. Okay, so I just finished up this yard. This guy had something happen from his downspouts. Mr. Curtis's yard is a $59 yard. Okay, so 18 divided by 60. Okay, 0.3. So 0.3 into 59. Is 196. All right, and you divide that by 3. $65 per man hour is what we were generating on Mr. Curtis's place. Okay, guys, so the thing that I want to get across in this video is so if you're a solo guy, you wouldn't be dividing the final number by anything. Your time is your time, and that's just what it is. But if you had a helper with you, you'd be dividing the number by 2 because you have 2 guys working with you, okay? If you had 5 guys, you'd be dividing by 5. It's really that simple, okay? So once you have your properties listed out and you see in black and white that this is what you are getting per man hour on each property, that is like opening up a hidden book of your business and lets you see, boom, these yards right here, they got to go. They're nice yards, but guess what? We either got to get the price up or we got to get our time down. The only way to make your per man hour rate better, because remember, 60 is always constant, the only thing you can do to change this formula is get your price up or get your time down. That's it, okay? You got to make that phone call, call that person up and say, we got to get you at this spot, you know, on your price. You can explain why, and if they're not willing to do it, and you can't figure out a way to drive this time down on that yard, they go home, all right? So if you see some of the per man hour rates, guys, on what I just showed you there, and it seems high, and it seems extremely high, I want to speak into that really, really quickly, okay? Number one, I have optimized my business to do that, okay? I have set it up in a way that we focus on a certain type of yard. Our equipment is perfect for those types of yards, and frankly, the guys that are working with me, they're pros. They are really, really good at what they do. They're efficient, they're paid well, and that's how we're able to get really, really good times. Why do I have my per man hour rate set where I do, okay? What is mine? I want $65 per hour for my market. Well, the reason is this, is because after I pay labor costs and then payroll expenses, payroll taxes, and then I have all the operating costs associated with that yard, then you want to take taxes out of the money that you make on that yard. The profit margin, it's not that big, guys. And that's what I want to get across to you, is that if you are starting out solo and you think that it's okay to make $25 or $30 an hour, if you ever have any hopes of growing your business past yourself, it will not work. And if you hear guys saying that you just need to get $1 a minute, so for a 60 minute yard, which is an hour job, that you should be getting $60 for it. Guys, that is the furthest thing from the truth. That would mean that for a 20-minute yard, you should be getting $20 for. I won't even show up to a property for less than $40, okay? And you have to understand, sorry, battery's freaking out on me. You have to understand that until you go and dive into this stuff right here, and it's not that difficult. It's basic, okay? This is basic. But if you just take that next step and look at your properties in black and white, you can start to get rid of the properties that are not as profitable for you, refill them with ones that are super profitable again, okay? And the thing I want to go back to is the reason that I'm able to get prices the way that I have is because I have set the business up with the sole purpose of having our per man hour rate as high as possible for a whole bunch of reasons, okay? I have plans of growing this thing bigger than just myself and a worker or two, and the only way I can do that is to make sure that there is plenty left over to reinvest back into the business and to grow. So look, if you're having problems figuring out your pricing, start with understanding what you're getting per yards. The way you do that is calculate your time, put it into this simple little formula right here, and then start looking at these are the types of properties that we make the most money on. These are the types that we don't make money on. It's really that simple, guys. You get rid of the types of properties you don't make money on, and you focus on the thing that has the highest per man hour rate. I don't care about total revenue. I care about per man hour rate. I care about margins. Hey, what's up, guys? So one more thing that I wanted to address real quick before we signed off was that okay? Let's say a property isn't as profitable as what it should be, but you love the client. It's an amazing client. They've been great, and it's a super nice yard, and you want to keep them. How do you go about addressing that with the client? Well, the first thing that I want to tell you about that is this: it doesn't matter. If you can't get the numbers right, none of that matters, okay? The numbers have to be right, okay? That's number one, all right? So we got to get the numbers right. So we call up Mr. Client. In my case, it'll be Mr. Rich, who's going to be getting a phone call. And I'm going to say, hey, Mr. Rich, and I'll just be very honest with him. I'll say, you know, we've been tracking our times lately on our properties, and we're just spending too much time on the property for the rate that you're paying. And, you know, if you're happy with service, would love to keep you on as a client, but I'm going to have to increase the rate just a little bit to continue to provide, you know, outstanding service for you. You know, as our company grows, so do some basic expenses, and I just wanted to be completely honest with you and let you know that's kind of where we're headed as a company. You have that conversation, and it puts it back on them that you would love to keep them on board, but they know that they have to get up in price, and they're usually going to ask, you know, how much of a price increase. You need to know already in your head, you know, once you know what your per man hour rate needs to be, you need to know how much you need to charge for that yard, okay? And if they're good with it, everything's easy peasy. If they're not okay with it, it doesn't matter if they're a good client. It doesn't matter if it's a great looking yard. It does not matter. You make room for new, better, more profitable clients. It's as simple as that.